helping out future Michelle and tying in all these ends. And the other part of me is like, I got better things to do. Okay, here is my 2023 temperature blanket video. I actually started this video back in January. Back in January, I filmed the intro, and I think I'm gonna use some of that intro still into here, but to make sure everyone knows that this is a new video and not an old video, I grace you with my now presence at the beginning of 2024. Today is actually January the 1st. But anyways, this is the temperature blanket for 2023. Currently, right now, it is January the 2nd, 2023. When you'll be watching this video, it will be 2024. I decided that I want to do a year-long video, which for you guys, you won't even know about this video until you're watching it right now, but for me, I have been working on it the entire year. Here's the thing, not to get any of my fellow Canadians mad, but I'm not using Celsius. I did not grow up on Celsius. My parents, you know, from the 60s and 70s. They grew up with Fahrenheit before they had switched it over. So then growing up in the 90s, my parents taught us with Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit makes sense. If it's 100, it's hot. If it's 0, it's cold. And Fahrenheit makes more sense because I think I'm gonna do 0, it's never 0, but like 0 to 20 is its own section, 20 is its own section, 30 is its own section, like its own color. I have all of my colors that I'm gonna be using. I really hope I'm into these colors a year from now. I think I am. Because a year before now, I was really into these colors, so I think I'm good to go. It's like an off-white, brown, so I have like this green, a beige, then I have red, kinda. It's not too bright of a red, that's why I picked it out. And then this lighter color brown, which is actually a new color by Impeccable. I've never seen it. Orange, yellow. I know I probably could have waited for the warmer months to pick out the colors that I wanted for those, but I wanted all the colors now. And then I also decided to do something different. Instead of just doing straight lines, I'm gonna be doing the zigzag stitch. I think it's gonna be okay, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have every week is a line, but when you do a zigzag stitch, I don't want them to be too thin, so I think I'm gonna zigzag one way and then zigzag it back. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then on the way back, right, it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday. It's the end of every single month. I'm going to show you the progress that I've made on the blanket, and then maybe some life updates on my channel, maybe things that I had thrifted that month that I think are amazing, things that I crocheted that month that I want to share with you. So it's going to be kind of like a little year time capsule. So at the very end of the year, I can look back and be like, oh, that's what I did in January. That's what I did in February. You know, so I thought it would be like a pretty neat little video. I don't really think there's that much else to say at this intro because I haven't started it yet. It is day 2, and I'm gonna basically have to wait till the end of each week to make a line, and we'll see where this year goes. Okay, everybody, it is now officially the first month done of this temperature blanket. First off, I don't remember what I said a month ago about when I started this project, so that's a whole thing. This is a month of crocheting. So you can kind of tell where it was really cold and really warm. I actually put this here, this little doodad, so that way I'll remember where I started. This right here is 1 day. This is the very beginning of January, and it's gonna go, probably end up like this. I don't know, I'm facing it towards me, and towards me it's right, but towards you is wrong. I'm also trying to make sure that I'm putting all my ends at the back and not having them both ways. Like I don't want them on the front and the back, and then weaving it is just gonna be a nightmare. So far it's been around the 30s Fahrenheit. The dark chocolate brown is the 20s. This day right here was the 40s. And then this off-white down here was below 20. So for 2 days, the average temperature was below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was pretty cold. I want to go over maybe some of the projects that I did this month. First off, I did make a Valentine's Day little number. Oh, this actually looks really good with a red shirt. Do I have a red? I don't think so. I should have thrifted one. I made this in January, but the video came out February 1st. So I really don't know when to talk about this. I think I'm going to talk about, I don't know. I mean, I have a whole year to figure this out, but as of right now, I made this in January. I think it turned out really good. I also made this hat this month. Just a cute little hat. It wasn't a video or anything. It was just a side project. And then one of the big projects that I was working on, I just finished making this last night. This took me about 34 hours to make. It was really long. It was a Hobie challenge. It was the No Shades of Grey challenge. I'll try to make it as colorful as possible. Very 70s aesthetic vibes, if you will. I really liked how this turned out, although the yarn is very heavy because I used cotton. Usually I use acrylic. Really like how this video is just gonna be a time capsule of my life in 2023. That's kind of cool to think to look at, because I'm not gonna be editing. I'm just taking this footage, putting it in a folder, and leaving it there for an entire year until December of 2023. And then that's when I'm gonna put everything together. So who knows what my hair or what my style, I'll probably still be here realistically. So this is probably not gonna change too much. Maybe a little. Maybe I get some more things. The things that I am looking forward to this year, Fall Out Boy is coming out with an album in March, so I'm really excited about that. And I have a project that I want to work on, which is like their smiley faced symbol. Hopefully we did that. Hopefully we did that, Michelle, because I really like that idea. But yeah, other than that, YouTube goals and what's happened so far, I actually reached 25,000 subscribers. My goal this year is to get to 50,000 subscribers, which would be really cool. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. I think that pretty much sums up January 2023. So the next update will come at the end of February, beginning of March. Can't wait for spring. So by that time, hopefully it'll be a little bit more springy out and less gloomy and cold. All right, it is time for the February update of the blanket. So this one at the top is where I started. So this is the start of the year. It looks like the average temperature has been in the 30s. Again, this is Fahrenheit. I think it's turning out pretty good, but every single time I start this, I always do it on a Sunday. I always do my row on Sunday, so then that way I can get the last Sunday to the Saturday that whole week, write it down, and then crochet it. But every time I do it, I'm like, how do I crochet chevron? I keep forgetting how to do it, and it's always the end. The way you have to end it is just a little weird. Also, like, this is still left over that I haven't done anything with. It's fine. So there's been a few 40 days, but most of the time it's been in the 30s or the 20s. It's not looking like a blanket quite yet. I mean, like, it's a scarf, you know? If I wanted to be like, okay, we're done, I could make a scarf. Let's see, what have I worked on? The videos that did come out in February were the Valentine's Day vest and the hexagon cardigan, but I already showed those in January. The end of February, I did start working on this little guy here. It's this little reindeer guy, and I'm actually staining the back piece right now, so that's in the garage. Got him done, and then I'm currently working on a project for Alexandra Gator. Hopefully that went well, I don't know yet, but I'm making her a hexagon cardigan, and I just finished the 2 panels right now. So today I'm actually sewing it together and doing the cuffs and the trim. Well, starting to do the cuffs and the trim. They take a long time to do. The hexagon part is done. I did reach 26,000 followers this month, very close to 27,000. February is a very short month, so there's not a lot going on. This month I did go through my closet and I did do a big like closet clean out for spring. Other than that, that's pretty much sums up February. It is now, oh my God. I was about to start this video and then I realized, hey Michelle, you don't even have the temperature blanket on you. I feel like for the past 3 months, every single time I do an update video, my hair is different. If you look at it, the last 3 months have typically been in the green zone. There's been some in the 20s. This month alone, that would be March. What I've noticed with this blanket, and it's kind of annoying, the switching of colors. I thought this would be like the easy way out. Like, you know, like again, every dip is 1 day, so like the average temperature of that day, but then like having to change back and forth and 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 back and forth. It's a little daunting. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do it this week. And then I have to either do 2 weeks in a row. Some projects that I worked on in March. One of the projects was, I think I might have finished it near the end of February, beginning of March, but I put out the video in March, and it was me making a hexagon sweater for Alexandra Gator, who has her own YouTube channel. She got it, she loved it, she filmed her reaction, and then I put it in the video. So if you haven't seen that video, hopefully you have by now. I'm probably, January 2024 right now, so hopefully you've watched it. This was like the first project that I made that I don't have. You know, like usually when I make a sweater or a cardigan, it's for myself, and I can show you it, but I can't, because I don't have it anymore. Anywho, I digress. Let's keep moving on. The other project I did for March was a very special project, and I also had a lot of trouble with the yarn If any of y'all remember that, I do because it's still fresh in my mind. It's this sweater, the Fall Out Boy sweater of their smiley, sad face for their new album. The album was amazing and I absolutely loved it. So good. I Am My Own Muse is my favorite song on that album. I mean, like, all the songs were really good, but that one just hits differently. This is the one where I had the yarn fiasco. You can kind of see two different colors yarn. This was the Bernat yarn. That happened. Oh, I was upset about that. And now I remember to check dye lots. Although the last project, I just bought some yarn for it. I didn't check the dye lots, and they're actually two different dye lots. They're the same color. It's fine. I'm okay. I think turned out really well. I actually think it turned out a little bit too big, and I should have made it a little bit smaller. What are you gonna do? The other project, which I literally put out the video today, this video here, and I still have not tied in the ends yet. The problem is like when the project's done, I just kind of throw it to the side and then I start the next one. It's only been a day, okay? It's been done. Like in the future, this has been done. And if it hasn't been done, Michelle, what are you doing? Get it done. Those are the crochet projects I did. Let's kind of go into some like, not really life updates, but some other things that happened to me in March. I actually started using Furls crochet hooks and I really like them. Who knows if I'm still using them now? I might be, I might not be. Almost at 29,000 subscribers. I'm getting very close to 30,000. Nothing else. I mean, spring is around the corner. I think pretty much it wraps it up for March. I don't really know what else to say about March. Nothing really happened. It was kind of like, you know, that wintry, weird weather that you didn't really want to do anything. I just kind of stayed home and did some crocheting. It is now the end of April, the beginning of, I have everything for this project except for the project I'm talking about. April, it's kind of like this here. You can kind of tell that the warmer weather is coming and we even have this, where is it? This light brown is 60. At the beginning of April, it was quite warm and I had just finished a crochet project that was a sweater and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to wear it anymore because it's super hot out. And then it went back to being cold. I have to say for April, overall, it's been in the 40s and that is this light kind of beige color. For April, we saw some, right here is like probably the best representation. It's been the 40s, it's been a little bit of 50s, it was in the 60s, and then of course it was back into the 30s. A mix of weather for April, and by the end of April, it was really, really rainy. Jacket weather, but still kind of cold, and then it's kind of been windy. That's where I am for April's blanket. What projects did I work on in April? I did some projects for Hobie Yarn because they had a few new lines of yarns. So they asked me which ones I wanted, then they sent me the ones that I picked, and then I made a few projects. This is their Pearly Haze yarn, and I love how it looks as a single crochet. I also made that bag. Where is that bag? I think that bag is in my car. Michelle, please put a photo of what the bag looks like. I completely forgot I made this bag. Then I also made this hamburger looking pillow. It's okay, it's soft, you know, it's nice to lay against. And it was my first time trying to make one of these patterns, and I'm currently working on another one, which, I mean, if you've been following my channel for over the year, you probably have already seen it, but I'm currently working on it and I'm not done it yet. It's this, I'm currently working on this and I'm on the last color, which is going to be the yellow. This looks so good on camera. And then the last thing I made for April was this here. I'm gonna show you the color. If you haven't seen the video that it came from, you've had over a year to watch it, I'm sorry. And it was my black and white video where I made the whole video black and white and you couldn't see the yarn colors I picked until the very end. So this was my first attempt at one of these t-shirt hexagon tops. I want to make another one after, like I have this idea. Hopefully it works. And I did learn a lot from this. And then the very end of April on the 29th, me and my sister participated in local yarn store day. When I mean participated, I mean we went to a bunch of yarn stores and bought a bunch of yarn. Future Michelle is editing this and she's probably like, what are you talking about? You're babbling on forever right now. Just get to the point. I did get to 30,000 subscribers and I am so excited. That pretty much sums up April for right now. Okay, we're doing the recap of May 2023 now. It's actually almost close to like the middle of June because I kind of got a little bit behind on the blanket. But I'm caught up now. I'm already dreading tying these ends in. But that's gonna be December, Michelle's problem. So anywho, so you can really tell where April ended and May started. From here to here, all the way down. That's May, so you can definitely see that May is getting warmer. We're going away from the green. I mean, we're almost halfway through the year already. The blanket is not going to be a huge blanket. I didn't want it to be a gigantic blanket. Part of me wishes I did it a little differently because I was like going more off like, oh, retro colors, and I feel like I should have went more the colors to the weather. Like I think that the colder weather I should have done like more blues, and then the warmer weather done more warmer colors, which is true. 70 is orange, 80 is going to be a yellow in a sense, kind of, but I feel like this green is just kind of like misplaced, but it is what it is. We just got to deal with it. We got to move on because I'm not redoing it. I'm not redoing it. That's the update on that. Life update. At the beginning of May, my cat Morty passed away, which is really sad because he was just the fattest, cutest little baby that there ever was. But he was getting up there in age. I could kind of see him like, you know, not doing so well anymore. That was really sad, but I do have this little necklace of him. What my sister did is over the years she was kind of collecting his little whiskers when they fell off. Then she found this Etsy seller that what you do is you send this person their little whiskers and they make them into little jewelry. 3 little whiskers are in here, and then over here is some of his little fur. His fur. It is sad not having him around. Speaking of which, I would like to have another cat, and I don't know why another cat hasn't just popped into my life because 2 cats is not enough. Let's continue. What did I make this month? Well, I made this pillow. It is full of cat hair because my cat Pippin has declared it as her own. It's hers now. Put it on my editing chair when I'm not sitting there, and she loves it because it's right by a window, so she sits on it, she sleeps, she gets the breeze from the window, she looks outside at the birds. Good life for a cat. So she sits on this. I don't sit on it because it's full of cat hair, but she loves it. So in the month of May, I got really into estate sales. One time I was just driving around and then I saw an estate sale sign and I followed it to a house, and then I went in the house and I'm like, wow, look at all this cool stuff. Yeah, and then that's how I got into estate sales. So I'm just gonna show a few things that I've gotten that I'm like really excited about that I found. One of the things is actually this back here, and this holds my Furls crochet hooks. It is a toothbrush holder. The hooks fit so perfectly inside of it. I got really into buying older cameras from estate sales. Technically they are vintage. Well, this one's vintage. If you do the whole 20 years, if it's past 20 years old, then it's vintage. But I bought this here. It is a Olympus camera. It's just a digital camera from like the early 2000s, which is super fun. I feel like the batteries are probably just a digital camera. And then I bought myself another camera, and 17-year-old Michelle would have killed for this camera. I would have loved this camera back in 2007. When I saw it at an estate sale, I'm like, I have to buy it. And that is this here. It is a Sony Handycam. Unfortunately, the only downside, the memory card is only to take photos. If I want to record anything, I have to buy the disc that goes into the side. Kind of obvious that they don't really make the discs anymore. I think that sums it up for May, and I'll see you back in the end of June. All right, and we are now in June. I did something to my hair. A little bit blonde-ish. I would like to go more blonder. We'll see if that happens. Let's get into the June temperature blanket. It's gotten so big that I've had to start rolling it up to fit it in my bag now. This little white dot to this orange one up here is all June, so it's been pretty much just in the 60s all for June. We are up here now, so it's getting a little bit warm. The 80s is yellow. We haven't gotten to yellow. We've done every single color except for yellow right now. Okay, let's go on to some of the crochet projects I've done. I did work with Hobie Yarn in one of their campaigns, and I ended up making this grandpa style shirt out of their Friends of Cotton brand. Really cute. I like how it turned out. It's a little heavy because again, it's cotton, but I feel like the acrylic just doesn't lay right. And then I also made a matching hat to go with it. Oh yeah, the hat still goes with my hair color. I wasn't too sure because I've been like dark brown for so long that like going to like a lighter hair color, I'm like, are all the items that I picked that look well with my dark hair gonna look right with this hair? And then I had just finished making this bag here. This one I absolutely love. So this bag is based off a show called I Think You Should Leave season 3, and it's a sketch where he goes through a drive-through and he orders 55
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies.
And then I even put in this hamburger fabric that I thrifted years ago, never knew what to do with, so I put it in here. Oh, and then I actually did a sewing project. I made this cute little fanny pack that I actually use as my purse. I thrifted this fabric as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure I thrifted this fabric around the same time I thrifted this hamburger fabric. Really love this fabric because it's like grandma fabric. And what's so funny is in that video I had mentioned I had other fabric that I really wanted to use, but I couldn't find it. I found it, so I might make myself another one. So my subscriber count right now, I think I forgot to mention this in previous videos, but it hasn't really done anything this year. It kind of reached 30,000 and then it just kind of like plateaued. So I'm really close to 32,000 right now. I think that pretty much sums it up for June. It is now, oh, come here. Oh, she just wants so much attention right now and I don't know. She never wants attention. So here I am trying to film and then she's just like, oh no, hello, hello. Now it is the end of July, so let's kind of go over what happened this month. First off, we'll start off with the temperature blanket, which I kind of forgot I was doing. Yeah, pretty much been in the 70s. There was one day where the average temperature was 80 and I switched it to this yellow and now I might have regretted my decision of doing that. The other yellow that I was going to do was more of like a buttery, lighter pastel pale yellow, and then I got this yellow for a project and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna switch it up to this yellow because I like how it looks. And yes, I do like how it looks. It being the only yellow, it kind of really stands out. Pretty much all of this where the oranges is July. This is the ends that I eventually have to weave in, and part of me is like, hey Michelle, how about helping out future Michelle and tying in all these ends? And the other part of me is like, I got better things to do. December Michelle will have to deal with that. I'm gonna regret that decision, but also I have so many fall projects I want to start now. Even though it is the beginning of August, I have a lot of fall things I want to do. As of the other day, I finally got to 34,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which is amazing. I feel like the beginning of the year, like March to June, it was really, really slow. Like I reached that 30K and then it just kind of stopped. Now it's like amping up and I'm like, what am I doing different? My style this summer, I wanted to go more old man. I really wanted to go with those like button-up shirts, old man in retirement home in Florida, golf course kind of style. And I just kind of got sucked into 80s teenager or 80s kid. Stripes, that's literally been the theme of the summer, is just dressing like a kid from Stranger Things. And it's all because I bought a pair of pants that weren't skinny jeans. I know, I bought a pair of pants that weren't skinny jeans. I love them so much. And growing up in the early 2000s, you know, skinny jeans were everywhere. That's what you bought. That was the pants, right? And then now when I put skinny jeans on, I'm like, I don't like how the pants touch my legs. But anyways, just wearing them makes me feel kind of like the 70s, 80s style, especially with like the graphic tees. I have been all about the graphic tees. Like, oh my goodness, the amount of graphic tees that I have bought this summer, more than I've bought in like 2 years combined. Like I've bought so many graphic tees, it's ridiculous. I've also bought a bunch of striped tees. That's kind of like the style that I've had this summer and I love it. I love it so much. And what's great is the pair of pants that I bought will look great with my fall outfits. So I'm really excited about that. Also, I bought myself a serger. It was the very end of the month and I ended up going to Canadian Tire with my dad and I bought a sewing serger, but I haven't used it. It's not like I don't want to use it. It's just so intimidating that I need to like really look into it. I have to like watch videos on how to do it properly so I don't like ruin it the first time I attempt. But anyways, I got a serger now. Let's kind of get into the projects that I made this month. I made a Barbie themed sweater, kind of like replicated from a Barbie that I had way back in the day in 1994. It's very flowy and light because I used the knitting machine instead of crocheting it. I think it turned out super cute. And then I did make this hamburger for a friend, but we have not met up yet in order for me to give it to her. So there's the hamburger I made. It's super cute. I really like it. I really need to give this to her though because it is not mine and I don't want to lose it or my cat attack it. So I made a hamburger. I also made this. I think I made this in July. I might have made this in June, late June. Did I just say late June? Late June or early July. I made this because I really liked how these colors looked on my temperature blanket. And this is just for my little paper shoot camera, which is over there, but I thought these are really cute. Also, I've decided that this is going to be a sweater that I'm going to make this year. And I bought the yarn today. I went to Michael's and I bought the yarn. I have been working on this project for so long. And it's not that I don't want the project to get done, it's just, it's gonna be a sweater, so I'm not gonna really be able to wear it until like late September, early October when the weather gets a little bit cooler out. So it's kind of been like on the back burner. Like if I didn't have a project to work on, this is the project that I was working on. But now I can officially say this is the project that I am going to be working on for my next video. August 2023. For some reason, I still can't believe it's 2023. I know it's already August. Here we go. I still kind of regret putting this yellow here, even though before I'm like, that's a good idea. I thought there would be more yellow and maybe it would have evened itself out, but there was only one day where the average temperature was 80 the entire day. But for the most part, it's been pretty much the 70s and the 60s for mainly all of August. I reached 37,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which I am so thankful for. What else happened? Oh, right. My hair went a little bit blonder and I did this kind of shaggy cut because I'm obsessed with like the 90s, the 80s right now, especially the 80s. I got hooked back into Stranger Things again. It's fall time and the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things take place in the fall time. I'm like, why not rewatch it? But I've also discovered that my aesthetic, my personal vibe is fall in the 80s. I love those colors, the jackets, the sweaters, the pants, the shoes, the overall like fallness with it like getting dark earlier, and it's just overall. That's what I absolutely love. Also, I am one of those people that like it when it gets dark at 7 o'clock. Not so much when it gets dark at 5 o'clock, but when it gets dark at like 6 and 7, I love that, okay? First project I did at the beginning of the month. I think I was working on this in July, but I think the video came out in August. You know, short sleeve shirt. I also kind of forgot I made it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot I made it until I looked at my notes. And then it's like, you made this. And I'm like, I did make that, didn't I? The other thing that I made, which took me a few months to do because I started working on other projects, it's this car sweater that I'm still fiddling with the collar. I know, you think I would have gotten the collar done. I just can't figure out how to like place it because I want to like tie it down, but every time I tie it down, it's just weird. So I think I have to try it on and tie it while I'm wearing it. 1980s Chevy Caprice car was my very first car I drove. I crocheted on the front and I crocheted on the back. The interior was actually this maroon red color. And then the last thing I made in August was this cardigan here. Now I didn't actually make it. It is a thrift flip. I thrifted this gorgeous granny square blanket knowing that I wanted to make it into a cardigan because when I saw the colors, I'm like, I want to buy all that yarn and I want to make a cardigan of it. Why not save a little bit of money and upcycle something? I basically just had to cut out the squares because if you watch that video, then you know that whoever had made this did not ever want it to come undone, which I mean is the intention. If you're gonna crochet something, you wanna make sure it doesn't come undone. Whoever made this did not want it to come undone, so I had to cut it apart a little bit, but that's fine. I know how to do a granny square. I can just put a new border on it. For September, this up here, one day in the 80s. Mainly September was in the 60s. The 60s is the brown, a few days in the orange, which is 70. I feel like I'm a weather forecaster person that's like, okay, over here we have sunny days and then it got a little bit cooler. I love it when like the whole week is just the same temperature because then I don't have to keep switching. That's the temperature blanket. I got 3 more months to go. I did make this though. This is super cute. I love this. This is just the ripple stitch pattern. Probably one of my favorite sweaters that I've ever made. I know I say this about probably every sweater that I've ever made, but unfortunately I'm going through a phase where I love wearing crew necks and little mock neck tank tops underneath. All summer I'm like, I can't wait for the cold weather and then I can wear all my cute sweaters that I've made. All I want to wear is these ones, and this one's cute. This one, if you don't recognize it, is from one of my favorite little TV shows that only had 1 season. I think it was only supposed to have 1 season, which is Over the Garden Wall. I did reach 39,000 subscribers. I would say dollars. Could you imagine if I had that much money? Oh, that'd be so nice. Anywho, not too much happened. So I will catch back up with y'all in the October part of the temperature blanket video, which will be in like a few seconds for you, but another month for me. All right, it is now October. I do want to say that I did forget something to show in September, because I did. I've been thinking about it all month. In my head, I'm just like, Michelle, please remember to show it when you do the October temperature blanket like update. I had made this, well, technically I made it, technically I didn't make it, because years ago, like 15 years ago, my Oma gave me a bucket full of yarn and a ton of granny squares, and then I didn't do anything with it because I didn't know what to do with it. And then finally I had the idea. I'm gonna make it into a cardigan. So a lot of the squares were made by her, like the gray ones, the green ones, these blue ones, probably 50% of the white ones, because I also had to make a bunch of white ones, and anything that is this lovely shade of blue up here, I also made that. I think it's pretty cute. It's really, really oversized, and that's the size of the squares, because either if I didn't make it as big as I wanted, it would have been too small just because of the size of the square itself. I wouldn't have made the squares this big. I would have made them a little bit smaller. But again, I was working with what I had, so I did make this in September. On to October. I did a lot of stuff this month. October, where's October? I have these little, seriously, I keep thinking like, why do I keep running out of stitch markers? It's because all my stitch markers are on here to indicate what month is what. There were some cold days, but for the most part, it's kind of been in the 50s, a few 60s, a few 40s, really. It's been a little chilly month. I haven't seen anything in the 30s yet. 30s are from way down here back in February, March, and January. You can kind of see where the summer months went, and now we're getting back into the cooler months. On to the projects. First off, I made this tote bag here. I made this with Hobie yarn, kind feather yarn, which I didn't realize how quick it was to work up, because when I bought it, of course I buy it online and I'm like, I have no idea what it's going to be like in person, because it could say like a 3 lightweight, but then you get it and it could be more on the medium side, or it could be like super thin. I didn't know. Realizing how much yarn I had left over, I probably could have made this into a really cute vest, and I kind of wanted to, but at the one point I'm just like, I'm too far into the bag, so I'm just making it into a bag. And then I did make it reversible by buying this spooky cat Halloween fabric from Fabricland. And so then the bag can go like this. I love reversible things. Now, this bag is part of my Patreon. Did I announce that I made a Patreon? I made a Patreon back in August. Another pattern on my Patreon is this one right here. This is the haunted house with the big moon and the little tiny ghost. And I think this is such a cute sweater. In the comment section, a lot of people were telling me that I should have made this, like, you know, glow in the dark, the windows. That was my idea. I wanted to do that. That was like the initial plan that I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I'm from Canada, and fun glow in the dark yarn didn't exist when I needed it. After the fact, like literally I had put this video out, I got glow in the dark yarn. My sister actually went over to the States and bought me some home, and then I went to another place a few weeks later in Canada and they had it. Unfortunately, it is not the glow in the dark yarn that I need. It's more of like a chenille kind of weird yarn, and then the other yarn I got is a white cotton. I wanted like a green yarn that also glowed in the dark. Oh, I made a Halloween costume. It was very last minute, and when I mean very last minute, it was a week before Halloween that I decided to do this. I made a Demogorgon headpiece. The wires are like coming out of it. It's seen some, you know, better days. I crocheted all these petals. I crocheted like this part, and then I crocheted the back part, and then I stitched them all together. I put some wire in it, and there's little snaps on here, so I just kind of snapped it on to there. And then I also have this, which just goes on my face, where I can see out of it, but you can't see my face. Then the last thing is I did do some Stranger Things thrift flips. My favorite one, which I've worn so many times, is this jacket here. Now, I thrifted. I found it at the Woodstock Antique Mall. The second I saw it, I'm like, this is Max's jacket. And at the time, I kind of forgot what she wore. I don't know if it was a jacket or a sweater. Turns out it's a sweater, but I would wear it more as a jacket, so finding this was amazing. And then I took some bias tape and I just sewed bias tape on the arms, and then I sewed bias tape on the front and on the back. Super happy about this. It's probably one of my favorite things that I've sewn in a while, and I didn't really have to do anything for it. Just sew on some stripes. And we are on to November. We're almost at the end of the year. I got one more month to go. I can't believe it. I think, you know, everyone notices my hair. I cut it because I started watching Loki season 2. I saw that haircut and I'm like, I need it. I think her hair is a little bit longer, so I'm gonna grow mine out of it. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how to style it. I literally got it cut like a week ago and I'm still trying to figure it out. Let's get into this month. This has been the last month. You really can see the difference in temperature. I weaved in the ends so far. Like I didn't weave in the last month yet. I'm going to, but for the rest of the year, I wove in all the the ends in. That's great. Where you going, Totoro? Totoro, she's been a really good girl lately. Normally she's an outdoor cat, but for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks, she's been coming in the house, and she's been such a good little girl. Oh, God, she's always so sad. Why do you look like that, Totoro? A few days where it was in the 50s, and then I think one of the days was in the 20s, which was actually right here. I have 1 more month, and then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for next year because I'm gonna do it all over again. What did I make this month? So I think first off, this was done. I got the pattern from Dorothy Jean Crochet. It was a really easy pattern to follow. I thought it was a good pattern. My only problem with this, it's just the shape of it is a little weird on me because usually on the bottom I'll do like ribbing so that way it kind of cinches in, but because it is this like zigzag pattern, I didn't want to do ribbing because I really like the zigzagness of it on the bottom, but part of me kind of wants to do something. I really love the colors together. I think it turned out amazing. Next, this, my birthday sweater for this year, and this is actually the mom sweater from Animal Crossing. But this one was a little bit of a doozy. It got to me, but I think this turned out really good. I made the collar separate and then I attached it, and I really loved how that turned out. I really liked it. Unfortunately, when I was doing the collar, I was like doing it around my neck and not doing it around my head. And so when I had to put this on, it goes on pretty good, but when I have to take it off, that does not go very well. It does not do good. I kind of have to undo it and redo it, and I just haven't done it yet. And then after that, I thought I would take a break from doing my next big Christmas project, which I'm technically still working on, and it should have been done, but it's not. I made these collars. Yay. This one was way too big. This one was way too big. This one is okay, but it's also a little bit too big. The one that fits me the best is the one that I made for my cat Totoro. This one fits me the best. What else happened? Oh, Northern Reflections actually reached out and wanted to send me some things. It's just crazy to think that they actually saw a TikTok I did and were like, hey, we like you. Would you like some things? And I'm like, yes, yes, please. And I did a whole video of me unboxing. Like, I'm so grateful that, you know, they want to send me things because you know me. Northern Reflections is like my favorite brand because it's my grandma brand. It has the loon on it. Oh yeah, it was my birthday month. I turned 34, which I keep forgetting. This whole last year when I was 33, I kept thinking I was 34. And now that I'm 34, I forget that I'm 34. Also, my sister made me this little duck. Well, he's not little, he's gigantic. He's the size of my cat. And she made this for my birthday. She does have a Instagram account where she does crochet things, so I will put it here if you're interested. I told her I wanted a duck and I thought it was gonna be like a little tiny duck. She made me a life-size duck. Super cute because you know how much I love ducks. Now we are back in December. Let's get moving. I'm gonna actually do the temperature blanket at the end of this little bit. I think I usually do it at the beginning of like the monthly video, but I'm gonna do it at the end. So this month was very busy. The main thing I made this month was this Christmas tree sweater, and if I go over here, it lights up. Yeah, there's some lights dangling. I spent most of my month making this. It took me a little bit longer than I was hoping, and I wanted to get it out earlier in the month. I got it out later in the month, so I apologize for anyone who wanted to make this. But it is still a really cute pine tree sweater, you know, like the one from Animal Crossing. The pattern is available on my Patreon. Also this month I made these lovely pillows, but I did make them as a Christmas present for my one friend, so I no longer have them. Pillows are actually quite fun to make, and I would like to make my own. I just, I need the time for that. I cannot believe I finished it. This is it. It's all done now. But yeah, here it is. It's all done. I even weaved in all the ends. I was gonna do a border, and then I'm like, I don't want to do a border. I'm done with this. I'm sick of seeing these colors. And maybe one day I will, but I just don't feel like it. And then the other thing that I was doing, and then I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore, is that every month I was putting a little stitch marker to be like, okay, like when I do a border, when I get to that part, I'll change the color so I know, okay, that's when like February started, that's when March started. I was just kind of looking at this and like, does it even matter anymore? And what I really like about this blanket is I didn't go extreme, okay? I didn't make a huge bedspread. I just made a nice little lap blanket. I'm gonna be honest, Totoro's probably gonna take it over. Because I crochet pretty much for a living now, which is amazing. But because I crochet a lot, I don't have a lot of time every week to work on this blanket. So I just wanted to make something small and compact that I could like take a Sunday, work on it for that past week, and call it a day. The most popular temperature of the year was probably in the 30s. I see a lot of greens. There was a lot of temperatures in the 60s. The 80s didn't really do anything there. Not a lot of 20, not a lot of under 20. Basically, I feel like it was very warm this year. I also feel like when I was doing my temperatures, I thought that 20 and 80 were going to be a bigger number, and so I used two of my favorite colors, which would have been this dark brown and this yellow, and I didn't even really get a chance to use them because it didn't really happen. What are some highlights from this year? I was trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I got to 46,000 subscribers. I think last year at this time I had 20, so to get to 45, that's almost 30,000 subscribers in 1 year, which is so amazing. And I can't believe that many people want to actually watch my content. So I'm very thankful for y'all who have stuck with me and who have subscribed to my channel this year. I am very grateful for y'all, and I'm just like so excited to see what like 2024 is gonna happen. I have a good feeling about 2024. I think this was a pretty good blanket, a pretty good project. I don't really want to ever look at the chevron stitch for a little bit now, because after doing this, I love it, but I'm done with it. Next year, I'm doing something different. That will do it for this video. I can't believe it's already been an entire year since I started this project. I remember when I first started, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be such a long year. Like, I can't wait for it to be done, and then I get to edit this video and y'all get to see this video. Well, it happened. I'm done. The blanket is done. If you're new to my channel, like sewing, thrifting, crafting, and of course, crocheting, why not hit the subscribe button? You can follow me on my Instagram, my TikTok, and of course, my Patreon. I think that's it, so y'all have a good day now.